Dun, 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 dun. That's mostly Star Wars music. Good morning, afternoon, or indeterminate time of day to you, my friends on the internet. Brian here, and today I'm going to give you my impressions on the Transformers Combiner Wars fan build combiner Victorion. And there she is. Let's get some of this big stuff out of the way. In the box, she includes a cool collector's card with. Actually, I really do like this artwork. It's the same one as on the box itself. And it is really kind of cool. Back is nothing. Instruction sheet with all the instructions for all the ladies. And some of these names are actually not right. Like, I think these two, Dust Up and Jumpstream, I think those are swapped. It wouldn't be surprised if I saw Skyburst and Stormclash swapped as well. Skyburst and Stormclash. Skyburst, Stormclash. Skyburst, Stormclash. You'll get that reference later. And yeah, it also includes the, obviously, the going to vehicle modes. Is this? Yeah, no, combined modes. Anyway, it also gives you instructions on how to combine the weapons. Those weapons are awesome. I love them. Also, a huge poster with the same piece of artwork on it. I don't know if I can even get it all in frame, but I'll do a dun 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 dun. That's mostly Star Wars music. That's supposed to just go with me. Stop yelling at me. I really kind of dig this artwork. This is a very cool picture of Victorion. Total mass shifting because, you know, her thigh is this bigger than Pyra Magna herself. So I don't like mass shifting. Also, her hands are red, but the figure, they're gray. So sadness. I think I would like the red hands. Then again, maybe I wouldn't have because that's still a lot of red. Anyway, on the back of the poster is nothing but white blackness. Actually, no, I take it back. The back of the poster is a picture of Polar Claw in a snowstorm. If you get that joke, you and I have a similar sense of humor, and, you know, bro fist to you. Alright, and before we get on to Victorion herself, Victorion, not Victorian, how can I even show off this box? It is freaking huge. Alright, I'm going to pick you guys up. Alright, there's the box. It's big. It is taller than Victorion. Really cool picture of the artwork on it. The side is blank. The top is big. It's awkward to manipulate this box. Has a picture of all the members, including their size class and their names. Other side is just a splash of the thingy, the picture. The one picture they have. Combiner Wars on the bottom. I'm sorry that this is a horrible way to show you this box, but it's so freaking huge. And the back has all the members. It has a big picture of the figure. It has a bio, if my lights will stop shining on it. There you go. There you go. There's the bio for Victorion in several languages. We got all the members with how many steps it takes to transform them. And includes a whole bunch of stuff. Warnings, image enlarged to show detail, not actual size. And yeah. Alright, so there's the box. On the figure itself, well, it's the got 5mm ports for the hands, so they kind of fall out occasionally. Let's talk about the weapon first. This sword is made up of all the individual weapons. You've got the two swords for Skyburst and Stormclash, I think those are the names. The shield, the axe, and the batleth gun thingy. So yeah, I do kind of like combining weapons, and this one does a good job of combining into something that looks regal, looks kind of intimidating. I don't know if this is entirely practical as a sword, but I sure would at least give pause if somebody came at me wielding this in, you know, appropriate size. Especially if it was like half their size. That is a big sword compared to her. And one kind of cool thing I noticed or figured out as I was manipulating it, if you use Dust Up here as an arm, since she's the dead end mold, you can kind of undo the transformation on her wrist. Put the sword back in the hand, and the hands just plug in. The sword just plugs into the 5mm ports on it. But you can kind of use her exhaust thingy to give her a bit of a downward motion on the a bit of downward motion on the hand for a little bit of articulation. Doesn't really work super well, but you can kind of fudge it for a pose or a picture or something. Alright, let's get a close-up of this head sculpt. So this head sculpt, though, is really kind of awesome. It's a bit tall for my liking, but I love the kind of clear visor, the bright blue paint. There's even like black around the eyes. This is a very, very cool head sculpt. Yeah, I definitely approve of this head sculpt for Victorion. I wouldn't necessarily say it's super iconic. Maybe the visor, being with the eyes visible behind it, is iconic to me, but there's nothing really like shouting at me that this is Victorion. Like, if I saw this painted up in a different color, I wouldn't necessarily go, oh, that's Victorion's head. Like, if I saw Menassor's head painted some different color, I'm like, oh, that's Menassor's head. But maybe that's just me not having any sort of attachment to this head design, which is completely plausible. So for articulation for her in combined mode, just like all the other Combiner Wars figures, the arms can do a full 360, although Pyra Magna, the chest piece, is the hotspot mold, so the arms do kind of like to come a bit unpegged back here like this, and so you kind of have to worry about it like coming undone. The arms also have a well, depending on which arm you use, but this arm at least has a double jointed elbow. Actually, both of these ladies used as arms have double jointed elbows. I think Dust Up here works a little bit better than Jumpstream, I think is her name. Yes, Jumpstream. Jumpstream is her name. Her name is Jumpstream. I am not going to be able to remember these names very well. But yeah, the arms, of course you can swap out any of these limbs for any other part, as the Combiner Wars mantra is wont to do, which is actually really kind of cool. The legs can go outward quite a decent ways. I think I could probably get one more click up, but it's, it fights me. Forward, it can go forward that much. It can go backwards that much, so much farther backwards. You got a thigh swivel, which kind of likes to come untransformed when you try to use, but it's still there. If you are careful with it, you can definitely use it. It's got a knee joint with... How far can I get you? I think that's about as far as I can get you. So just under 90 degrees. Maybe a little push it further. Actually, I think I'm hitting the head. Oh yeah, okay. Yep, much better. Hi, how you doing? I'm just a knee. Don't mind me. Oh, if you can't laugh, you're not having fun. Anyway, thigh swivel at the knee, chest shields falling off. And Victorion actually has ankle articulation and can move around and has toe and has the best feet of any Combiner Wars figure. And I forgot to mention that the hands are also wonderful because they have articulated fingers. Well, a finger and then 3 fingers. So she can totally do like chip, pip, pip, cheerio, tea time. Except that's, supposed to be one finger, not. Anyway, the hands are better articulated than any other Combiner Wars figure. Alright, so there is her articulation. Let's pull in some other Combiner Wars combiners and see how she compares to some other uses of the mold. Molds. Plural. Alright, so there is Victorion with Defensor and Menasor on the right and the left, respectively. Since there's like no definitive version of Victorion to me, I'm still playing on limb placements. I think I like the helicopters as the feet because every other combiner that has helicopters has them as an arm, like Defensor here. So I think I like those like that. Now, one thing to notice difference-wise between Defensor and Victorion is, Victorion's taller, but I think that's mostly due to the new feet. Also, the chest shield, the Minicon chest shield. On Victorion, they have you put it on upside down, and thus you lose access to one of the pegs that is on the black piece here in the center that holds the motorcycle on more securely. So that kind of falls off a lot more than Groove does on Defensor. But yeah, she actually... Oh, and Menasor, I have him in my slightly fan mode-ish mode, where I didn't plug in the plates here on his thighs. I didn't plug those in just to make him a bit taller and look a little nicer. And there she is with every combiner that I've got my hands on. Every Combiner Wars combiner that I can get my hands on, including one that I just kind of threw together and used limbs that I said I would never put back in limb mode. But hey, there is 6 Combiner Wars combiners for you. That actually is kind of cool. Victorion looks kind of like, I wouldn't say out of place, but definitely more unique than the others because of her unified color scheme. So I dig that quite a bit. You know, this actually isn't a fight I wouldn't mind seeing. I think it would be interesting for Victorion and the Torchbearers to interact with Nova Prime. For another size comparison, since I have him here and think he's really cool, here is Planet X's Vulcan, aka Fall of Cybertron Grimlock. She's big. He's big. She's huge. Big. Big. Insert last statement about why this size comparison is happening, but this is Mastermind Creations' Seraphicus Promenon, aka their Nova Prime, and this would be an interesting interaction. She is comprised of members who worship primes. He is a very evil prime. I'd be curious to know what would happen. Since they had a hand in creating Victorion, at least in the comic books, there is Whinblade and Chromia. Yeah. Victorion is bigger. She's a bigger lady. And just for amusement's sake, there's Minimus Ambus. He's right here. Right here. Right here. Hi, guys. Hi. 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 He's really small. Just for amusement. So the paintwork on these ladies is phenomenal. I really do like the paintwork on them. There are blemishes here and there. Like, of course I can't find any when I'm trying to look for them, but every individual bot has like at least 1 or 2 little like paint marks that are not where they're supposed to be, or like smudges in the paint. Well, not smudges, but like I'll see red on one of the green pieces occasionally. It's not a common issue, it seems, on these figures, or at least on my figures, but it is something that exists. And there's also like some scratches, like I've got a scratch on, I already forgot her name, but right here there's a scratch on this arm. But since these ladies come from the Sea of Rust, I kind of am very forgiving of that, because it seems like the Sea of Rust would be a very rough and tumble place, a very inhospitable place. So thus, like, especially since this one already has a crack in the windshield, I'm very forgiving of, like, paint smudges, and it adds to the character, I think, to me. At least in my own head, it adds to the character, because, like, they're from a hostile environment. They try to look appealing and pleasant and keep up their maintenance, but they are in an inhospitable place, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I can buy the paint smudges. I am loving how much remolding was done for these ladies. Everybody got a new head except for the chest shield. Rust Dust is the chest shield. Except for her. Everyone got a new head, and I love how much detail they put into these new heads. I love the new hands. I love the new feet. I guess I'm just basically going into my final thoughts without even realizing it. I am really enjoying it. I definitely voted for a number of these molds. I think I actually did vote for... No, I don't think I voted for a helicopter, but I definitely did vote for the fire truck torso, because at the time that was the best mold for the torso, I thought. In hindsight, Onslaught is actually the best torso, and I really wish Pyra Magna, the chest piece, had been a remold of him rather than Hotspot. There is some QC issues with installing... A piece was installed backwards in Pyra Magna's knees. I'll get to that in her video. But essentially there's a fix for it. But just be aware of problems, otherwise you might cause stress marks like I did. But at the end of the day, I voted for a number of these molds. I'm glad to have this figure. I'm glad for Combiner Wars to kind of end on a high note for me. Victorion is definitely really cool. Also, this isn't actually even the end for me. I'm getting Takara's Computron as well, so I think my Decepticons are getting vastly outnumbered in Combiners. So, for now, Combiner Wars is ending on a high note. I love the color scheme. Actually, this is the color scheme I think I voted for. I think there was orange supposed to be in this as well, but, you know, I'm okay with them having played with the colors. I definitely love the fan-built Combiners, or the fan-built bots, and I'd love to have more in the future. I think next time we need to vote for a Decepticon, though, because there's too many Autobots now. I also would not have minded if they made some of these limbs male, so I didn't necessarily need an all-female Combiner, but some more females is always useful, is always a joy to have in Transformers. So I think that is basically all my thoughts on the figure, or the figures, and the box set altogether. But I'm very curious to know what you guys think. How do you guys feel about the head sculpt? What do you think of the color scheme? In person, it looks great to me, but I can definitely say that the complaints that people have about it are valid. But what are your opinions? Drop a comment down and let me know. And guys, thank you so much to those of you who have subscribed to us, watch our videos, pass the word on to your friends, and all those good, amazing things. You guys are absolutely wonderful for subscribing to us and doing what you've done. You're the best audience we could hope for, so thank you so much. You're the reason we keep doing these. Until next time, guys, may the lighting of the torch be passed to the worthy and not to some jerk named Nova. I think that's a verse in the Covenant of Primus. I'm pretty sure that's an actual verse. Bye!